In a luxurious ballroom, numerous nobles are chatting, dancing, and enjoying themselves. Suddenly, a girl called Aileen falls to her knees. Her fiancé, the Crown Prince Cedric, just broke off his engagement with her because he loves another girl called Lilia. We find out that Aileen is actually the reincarnation of a girl who died in a hospital from a sickness. She used to play a romance video game called Regalia of Saints, Demons, and Maidens, and now she realizes that she has been brought back to life inside of that game. However, she's not the heroine, she's the villainess, just like in the game. Cedric ditched Aileen because he fell in love with the game's actual heroine, the reincarnation of the Holy Sword Maiden Lilia. Not wanting to give Cedric the satisfaction of seeing her cry, Aileen smiles at her former fiancé and leaves the hall. She knows that, according to the game's plot, Lilia is supposed to defeat the awakened demon lord, and during that battle, Aileen is supposed to die in an accident. However, Aileen wants to change the plot. She decides to tame the demon lord, so that he never awakens and doesn't have his fight against Lilia. On her way to the demon lord's forest, Aileen has a hard time. Her luck is awful and even the crows are yelling at her to leave, but she doesn't give up. At the demon lord's castle, the demon lord himself, who is called Claude, appears in front of Aileen. Seeing how handsome he is, Aileen gets flustered. She immediately asks him to marry her, but he gets angry at her, making her pass out from fear. We find out that Aileen was the youngest child of an important duke and she has led a privileged life. However, she was less capable than her younger brothers, so she felt insecure and thought she had no value for a long time. At the age of 8, when Cedric proposed to her, she was happy because there was finally someone who expected something from her. From then on, becoming a great empress became her dream. She worked extremely hard on her studies, but she was misunderstood and the other students thought she was arrogant. Now, she thinks she should have worked more on making herself seem more charming and fragile. Aileen wakes up in Lord Claude's castle and overhears someone talking. It's Claude's two attendants, a human called Keith and a demon called Beelzebub. It turns out that Claude wasn't actually angry at her, but just surprised at her marriage proposal. We find out that Claude is actually Cedric's half-brother who was banished and disinherited because he was discovered to be a demon when he was 10 years old. Even though the demons and the humans have signed a non-aggression pact, Claude was still forced to live in an abandoned castle far away from the humans. Aileen remembers that, in the game, Claude's awakening and transformation into a huge dragon was a result of his hatred of humans. Wanting to avoid getting killed by him in an accident later, Aileen bluntly asks Claude to marry her again, but he just uses his magic to fix her beaten-up dress and send her back home. At her home, Aileen's father, who acts politely but doesn't hide that he thinks she's a disappointment, gives her a letter from Cedric and Lilia. In 2 months, they'll be holding a ball to announce their engagement and they want Aileen to sign the nullification of her engagement to Cedric in front of everyone. Aileen doesn't care and accepts the invitation. She heads back to Claude's castle, but a magic spell is making her unable to find it again. Coming up with an idea, she calls for the castle's gatekeeper, who is a talking demon crow. When she offers the crow some cookies she baked, he gladly eats one of them, but soon falls over. It turns out Aileen put anesthetic in the cookies. Threatening to pluck all the feathers off his beloved servant, she makes Claude show himself. Using magic, Claude nullifies the effect of Aileen's anesthetic and the crow feels normal again. The crow is angry, but Aileen bribes him with regular cookies and he becomes more friendly. She nicknames him Almond. At his castle, Aileen asks Claude to accompany her to Cedric and Lilia's ball, but before he can answer, Almond interrupts them. He tells Claude that a Fenrir wolf pup has left the demonic barrier around the forest and is heading toward a school for noble. Hearing this, Aileen offers to go get the pup back for Claude, hoping she'll have him in her debt afterwards. Claude accepts and teleports Aileen to the school, making her happy because she's being relied on. At the school, the Fenrir pup has been caught in a bear trap by some students. Aileen runs over there and tries stopping them, but they won't listen. Suddenly, they get scared by something and run away. Opening a portal to the human realm, the Fenrir pup's mother arrived to get her pup back. Grateful to Aileen, she takes her child and goes back to the demonic forest. After she leaves, the students return together with Cedric and Lilia. Someone told Cedric that Aileen hurt the pup on purpose so she could make it attack Lilia. However, Lilia thinks Aileen wouldn't do anything like that and calms him down. Suddenly, Claude appears, even though he doesn't usually leave the forest. Getting down on his knees, he thanks Aileen for helping the Fenrir pup and thereby improving the relationship between demons and humans a little. Realizing he came just to help her clear her name, Aileen is touched. Summoning a black coach with a flying horse, Claude offers her a ride home. As the coach takes flight, Cedric and the other students watch it in disbelief. When Claude asks her why she's really asking him to marry her, Aileen tells him he won't believe her, but still tells her story. She tells him that his whole world is a romance video game and that he's going to turn into a dragon if she doesn't do something about it. Thinking she's making fun of him, Claude gets angry and makes the coach disappear, leaving her to fall. Aileen starts screaming, but he quickly catches her again and puts her back on the ground. With a smile, he agrees to accompany her to the ball in order to repay his debt to her, but also because he wants to see her cry. Leaving Aileen confused, he disappears. Some time later, Aileen's father tells her that Cedric is going to take over the pharmaceutical and agricultural businesses she has been managing, since she has been managing them carelessly. He orders her to earn all the money she lost back before the ball in 2 months. Surprised, Aileen worries about doing that in such a short time. Visiting Claude, Aileen tells him she wants to help him fix up his rundown castle. When he realizes that her real motive is giving a new job to the workers Cedric fired from her businesses, Claude accepts her proposal. He also tells Keith to look into the reason why he hasn't received any money from his father in a while, thinking a noble has been deceiving him. Aileen asks her news reporter friend Jasper to look into that case too. When Claude points out to Aileen that she's making it obvious that she doesn't like being in anyone's debt, she gets embarrassed, but also asks him for something else. She wants to use some of his land to create a small farm and he accepts. Before Aileen leaves, Claude turns her shadow into a demon gateway. Immediately, the Fenrir pup from before emerges out of it and Aileen is confused. Claude tells her that he wanted to ensure she'll be accepted by the forest's demons and she won't get attacked by them. Aileen decides to name the Fenrir pup Ribbon. The next day, Aileen goes to Claude's castle together with Jasper. Suddenly, a strong wind starts blowing and Jasper remembers that it is said that the demon lord's emotions affect the weather, so he must be in a bad mood. At that moment, the workers Aileen called for arrive. The cheerful architect Denny's, the kind Dr. Ruck, the quiet botanist Quartz, and the aloof Lord Isaac. While the weather is getting worse, Keith arrives and brings everyone into the castle. The newcomers are intimidated by the demon lord, but he only has one rule for them to follow. They can't hurt the demons or threaten their way of life, especially since he knows everything that's going on inside the barrier enveloping the forest. The castle turns out to be in worse shape than it looks like, since Claude is supporting it with his magic. He tells the workers to make it a place comfortable for demons to live in. When the others leave with Beelzebub, Claude admits to Aileen that he's jealous because she's so close to the people she brought. She tells him that she has a close relationship with them so they can work together better, but Claude gets sulky and leaves. However, the weather suddenly improves, signifying that he's in a better mood after all. When Aileen joins the others, she explains everyone their jobs. Denny's will start repairing the castle with Beelzebub. Jasper and Keith will look into the embezzlement of Claude's funds, and Ruck, Quartz, and Isaac will join Aileen to help her produce some new pharmaceuticals. Aileen comes up with the idea to produce beauty products, and the others agree with her. However, she actually has an ulterior motive. Because Claude is so handsome, she wants to use the beauty products to make herself look better at the ball with him. Soon, Aileen and the others start producing their first products, which are skin toners. Keith interrupts them to report that he and Jasper have successfully solved the case of the embezzlement. That night, while Aileen is alone and deep in thought, Beelzebub appears from her shadow. He tells her that he wants to go to the ball too because he wants to keep an eye on Claude. Since he knows that the humans hate Claude, he wants to protect him. Aileen agrees to let Beelzebub come with them and he's overjoyed. Some time later, Denny's gathers some workers and they start repairing the castle. Aileen even used sweets to make some demons listen to her and help them. While Aileen is watching Denny's and the others work, Keith and Jasper approach her to report that she's in trouble. Lilia has been receiving threatening letters forcing her to break off her engagement to Cedric, and some people think that Aileen sent them, because her name appeared on some of them and they were written on perfumed paper used by noble ladies. Summoning Almond, Aileen bribes him with apple pie and asks him to bring her any documents he finds in the trash near the Imperial Palace. Claude is against it, being worried about Almond's safety, but Aileen convinces him to let the crow go, telling him that his demons won't learn anything if he's always protecting them. She also promises to beat up anyone who dares to hurt Almond. Hearing this, Claude tells her that even though he still wants to make her cry, sometimes he wants to spoil her rotten and ruin her. Hearing this, Aileen gets flustered. Immediately, Almond goes to the Imperial Palace and takes some discarded papers with him. At the day of the ball, Aileen, dressed in a luxurious dress, heads there with her father. Her dress and all the accessories to go with it were sent to her by Claude just before she left. When they arrive, Aileen confidently enters the ballroom. Inside, all the women are talking about Aileen's cosmetics company, Oberon Company, even though they don't know who its owner really is. For the first time in a long while, Aileen's father is proud of her. Aileen finds Isaac, who tells her that Lilia has gone missing. Thinking Claude kidnapped her, Cedric sent his knights to his castle. Aileen is concerned, but Isaac reminds her that there's a non-aggression pact between the humans and demons. When Cedric hears that Aileen has arrived, he immediately tells the guards to seize her. Earlier, Beelzebub found Lilia wandering around the demonic forest and brought her to Claude's castle. Claude didn't notice her crossing the barrier at all because she has strong magic resistance. Being the Holy Sword Maiden, he asks her to leave, but she suddenly tells him she's concerned and feels sorry for him because he lives alone in the forest. She explains that the knights he sensed crossing the barrier arrived due to a misunderstanding. Lilia admits that she had written the threatening letters to herself, explaining that she did it to stop Aileen, who she believes is intending to kidnap her. She tries to convince Claude that Aileen is actually evil and still loves Cedric, but he doesn't believe her at all. Strangely, when she sincerely says that she actually came because she wanted to see Claude again and talk to him, Claude starts feeling dizzy, suspecting Lilia of having cast a spell on Claude. Beelzebub tries to stop her, but the power of the Holy Sword Maiden burns his hand when he touches her. Lilia suggests that she can replace Aileen and fulfill Claude's wish, but then he suddenly gets his senses back. Thinking about Aileen, he tells Lilia that she offended him by implying that she's better than Aileen and teleports her away from his castle. Meanwhile, at the ball, the guards restrain Aileen. Cedric accuses Aileen of kidnapping Lilia to win him back, but Aileen tells him he's completely wrong and that he disgusts her. She loudly declares that she used to admire Cedric but now wants to end her engagement to him as soon as possible. Embarrassed in front of all the nobles, Cedric becomes furious and demands that Aileen confesses her wrongdoings. Suddenly, Claude bursts through the skylight with Beelzebub. He repairs the glass with a snap of his fingers and confronts the terrified Cedric. He reveals that he stopped the soldiers Cedric had sent to apprehend him and approaches Aileen. As Cedric realizes that Aileen is in love with Claude, he falls into despair. Aileen remembers the time when she and Cedric were children. Cedric used to be sad because he was always overshadowed by his older brother, which is similar to how Aileen felt back then. Now, she regrets not supporting him. Aileen commands Isaac to hand her a paper, which turns out to be one of the threatening letters Lilia received that Almond found in the trash. By comparing the letter to the ball invitation she got from Lilia, Aileen shocks everyone by demonstrating that they were written on the same kind of paper. Leaving Cedric speechless, Aileen bids him farewell. She remembers about the confidence and courage Cedric gave her when he proposed to her, but accepts that things have changed after she signs the annulment of her engagement. Claude asks her for her first dance as a free woman. The two dance gracefully while Cedric watches in disbelief. Feeling betrayed. After the ball, Aileen assumes Claude must find Lilia cuter and more lovable than her and gets depressed. When Claude notices that, he pinches her and snaps her out of it, assuring her that she is also cute and that Lilia is not his type. Aileen is flustered and then tells him she realized what his greatest desire is. It's for demons and humans to coexist. He's surprised that she knows about that, but adds that his other wish is to see her cry. Before he sends her on her way, Claude gives Aileen a kiss on the cheek. In that moment, Aileen remembers witnessing an enraged Claude expressing his desire for all humans to be destroyed. Not noticing anything is wrong, Claude bids her goodnight and leaves. Aileen realizes that, according to the game's story, Claude will be betrayed by the only human he has trusted since childhood, leading him to lose his faith in humanity. The next morning, Aileen wakes Keith up and tells him she knows that he's doing something bad without Claude's knowledge. When she points out that he has been secretly selling demons, Keith admits it. She also managed to get the contract of sale for Claude's land through her father's connections, and Keith is surprised when he sees it. Aileen thinks that, if Claude finds out that Keith betrayed him, he might lose control and kill him, which could trigger his awakening. According to a legend, the Demon Lord will awaken as a dragon when he can no longer contain his negative emotion. Even though Lilia can't affect Claude's human form with her Holy Sword Maiden powers, she can easily defeat him when he awakens. Keith reveals that Claude has saved his life when he was 5 years old. He fell into a pond and was on the verge of drowning, but Claude used his magic powers to rescue him. However, Claude's servants witnessed the incident and informed his father about it, who kicked Claude out a few years later for being a demon. Keith chose to go with him. He wanted Claude to be happy, so he forged a contract of sale with a noble for a plot of land where they could live. However, the noble quickly found out about it. He let Keith have the land, but also started threatening him into regularly selling him demons, which are worth a lot of money. Aileen remembers that in the original game, Lilia and Cedric expose Keith to Claude, which leads to Claude losing control. Wanting to avoid that at any price, she comes up with a plan. Later, Almond appears and reports that Cedric and Lilia have arrived at the castle. They try to tell Claude that Keith has been selling demons for money, but Aileen interrupts them. Lilia asks her if she feels bad for the demons who are getting sold, but Aileen cruelly tells her to stay out of her business. Upset, Lilia runs out of the room telling Aileen she's being mean, and Cedric follows after her. Sometime later, Keith is preparing to meet up with the noble who's blackmailing him while Aileen and Beelzebub watch him from a rooftop. It turns out that Keith isn't selling the demons by force, but that they are volunteering to be sold to help their demon lord. As the noble arrives, Aileen expects to see Lilia spying on the exchange, but she's nowhere to be found. Keith then tells the noble that he's disappointed he sold his land to Aileen's family and demands to see his account book. However, the noble won't give it to him because he's afraid of getting exposed for purchasing demons illegally. When Keith gives him a sign, Beelzebub casts a blinding spell, allowing Keith to grab the account book. The noble's men attack Keith, but he easily defeats them while Almond starts freeing the demons that were supposed to be sold. To avoid breaching the non-aggression pact, Isaac made the demons dig trap holes earlier, which the noble and his men fall into. In the end, Keith hands over the guilty noble and his men to the knights. Suddenly, Cedric's attendant appears and knocks Keith out. Cedric and Lilia also show themselves. Lilia summons her holy sword to defend herself, but Beelzebub runs at her in a frenzy anyway. Frightened, she attacks Beelzebub in self-defense, which makes him fall to his knees. Cedric approaches Aileen and forcefully grabs her, telling her he's going to make her his second wife. He knocks her unconscious and kidnaps her while Keith and Beelzebub are helpless. Once they regain their senses, the two of them tell Claude what happened. Keith confesses that he has been selling demons behind his back, but Claude just tells him to take care of Beelzebub while he sets out to rescue Aileen. Meanwhile, Aileen wakes up in a strange place, tied to a bed with Cedric watching her. However, before Cedric can do anything, Claude breaks through the wall. Seeing Aileen tied up, Claude starts losing control and uses his wind magic to subdue Cedric. It turns out that Cedric kidnapped Aileen to trigger Claude's awakening, which would allow Lilia to kill him and make everyone accept her as the next empress. Almond then arrives and frees Aileen, but she can't stop Claude in time, who fully awakens and transforms into a dragon, believing she's ending his suffering. Lilia charges at him to kill him, but Aileen stops her, taking the stab herself. Luckily, the holy sword can't harm humans, but Aileen still feels the pain. Saying that she has the blood of the Holy Sword Maiden inside of her as well, she absorbs the Holy Sword into her body and announces that she is now the main character. Exhausted, Aileen approaches Claude and tells him their life as husband and wife might be hard if he's a dragon. She admits he managed to make her cry and tells him to take responsibility for it. When Aileen tells him to turn back into his human form if he truly loves her and her tear hits his body, Claude reverts to his human form. The next day, after Claude brought Aileen home, he talks to her father. In exchange for Aileen not revealing Cedric's actions to the public, Claude has the opportunity to have his right to inherit the throne reinstated, but he isn't interested. However, when Aileen's father tells him that she has been working so hard to become the Empress, and he doesn't intend to give his daughter to anyone except the Emperor, Claude changes his mind and decides to do his best to claim his right to the throne after all. Some time later, Claude is bestowed the title of Crown Prince and Aileen becomes engaged to him. Aileen starts thinking that her life is finally becoming fun. Some time later, Claude has moved to the imperial capital and started living among the humans again. Because other people are so tiring, Claude would recharge his batteries by hugging Aileen and enjoying her embarrassed expressions. Keith approaches Claude and reports that a group of demons led by someone called Ashtard has attacked a village in the Merchetta region, which is the homeland of the Holy Sword Maiden. Hearing this, Aileen remembers that Merchetta is where the game Regalia of Saints, Demons, and Maidens 2 is set. That sequel game was about demons who tried to destroy Merchetta after they lost their demon lord. Aileen realizes that, if Merchetta falls to Ashtard's army, the people will blame Claude for it and he'll lose his right to the throne. The demons led by Ashtard announce that they won't accept a demon lord who has fallen for the Holy Sword Maiden. If Claude doesn't bring them Aileen's head soon, they'll attack the Duke of Merchetta. Claude announces that he already made a deal with Cedric to replace the Duke of Merchetta while he's sick in order to catch Ashtard himself. Aileen wants to come with him because she doesn't trust Cedric, but Claude doesn't let her because the demons are after her head. However, Aileen is still worried about Claude. According to the original game, an item that makes demons lose their rationality called Demon Incense could be used on him, coming up with a plan to go to Merchetta anyway. Aileen forbids Claude from teleporting to see her while he's staying there. She tells him she wants to make him understand the feelings of a woman that's left behind, and Claude reluctantly agrees with her orders. After Claude left for Merchetta, Aileen also went there in secret. She disguised herself as a boy called Ailey and had her father enroll her into Mishi Academy. There, she wants to find out how closely things are following the plot of the game. While she's walking around campus on her first day, Aileen sees a girl getting bullied by her own fiancé. Disguised as a boy, she runs up to the bully, hits him, and helps the girl up. She tells the bully that she's a transfer student and she doesn't care about the Holy Sword Maiden's old-fashioned teachings, which say that women are supposed to be subservient to men. Witnessing all that, a student called August is impressed and offers to show Aileen around the academy. Inside the student council room, August introduces Aileen to Kyle and Walt, two popular and handsome student council members. Seeing them, Aileen remembers that Kyle, Walt and August are all romantic interests in the original game she was playing. In the good ending of that game, August borrows Lilia's holy sword and defeats the final boss. Next, James the student council president arrives and Aileen remembers that he's actually the game's final boss. He's supposed to become the next Duke of Merchetta, but he's actually a half-demon, so he's being targeted by the church's assassins. In the game, he announces himself as the Demon Lord's successor and attacks Merchetta. Aileen wants to prevent that and tame him just like she tamed Claude. During the day, Aileen also meets the girl she saved from her abusive fiancé and realizes she's actually Rachel, the villainess of the second game. However, in this reality, she's meek and kind. After class, Aileen also sees the heroine of the second game, Selena, giving one of her classmates advice. Selena is a commoner who became the daughter of a baron and enrolled into Mischi Academy, where she became beloved among the students. She also adores Lilia and even exchanges letters with her sometimes. Then, August approaches Aileen to talk to her, but Selena interrupts them. Obviously interested in August, Selena wants to go home together with him after class, but August doesn't want the other students to get the wrong impression about their relationship. Apparently, Selena also hates Aileen, but can't recognize her because she's in disguise. She won't accept Aileen as the new Holy Sword Maiden and thinks she's the worst villainess of all time. Meanwhile, Claude is lonely in the Duke's office and he misses Aileen. Keith enters the room with a report for Claude. It turns out that James is actually the illegitimate child the Duke's son's deceased older sister had with a demon. The Duke's real son is worried that James will be chosen as the next ruler of Merchetta and even believes that he's actually the demon Ashtar. That's why he paid a lot of money to Merchetta's church to have James assassinated. In her dorm, Aileen is visited by Isaac, who also goes to Mischi Academy. He sees that she's troubled, but it turns out that she just received a very romantic letter from Claude and doesn't know how to respond. The next day, Aileen goes to the student council and announces that she wants to join it. While the others support her, James wants to test her first. He wants her to investigate the attack on a female student that is rumored to be the work of a vampire. When she hears that the people are suspecting the Demon Lord of attacking the girl, Aileen becomes eager to investigate and prove Claude's innocence. Aileen wants to form a security force that will protect the Academy's students until the attacker is caught. But she realizes she has to get permission from the Duke's replacement, since the Duke is the Academy's principal too. At the Duke's office, Claude is lovesick again. Suddenly, a person in a weird duck costume enters the office and asks him to sign a document. Claude is confused and won't sign anything for a random duck. Suddenly, Almond flies through the window and gives him Aileen's answer to his letter. Wanting to read the letter as soon as possible, Claude quickly signs the document and sends the duck away. However, Aileen only wrote that she's doing well and Claude gets depressed because of how short her answer is. Outside, Aileen takes off her duck costume and we find out that she used Almond to deliver her letter at just the right time to lower Claude's guard. When she returns to her dorm room, she writes a better letter to Claude. That night, Aileen and Isaac patrol the school grounds for signs of demons. They happen to see one of their teachers called Koenig blackmailing Rachel for money. However, Rachel doesn't have any more money to give him, so Koenig tells her he'll make her a victim of the vampire. Before he can kidnap her, Aileen kicks him and he runs away. While Isaac takes care of Rachel, Aileen runs after Koenig. Suddenly, she smells a sweet smell and hears a scream, after which she sees Koenig on the floor unconscious. Beside him, she sees James, who has grown horns and demon wings. She notices that the strange smell is actually demon incense, but notices that James's demonization isn't complete yet. Suddenly, someone runs toward them and Aileen tells James to run away. Walt shows himself, having heard Aileen warning James. He figured out that she's actually a woman and points his gun at her, ordering her to explain herself. Aileen then says that she knows he and Kyle are actually demon hunters from the Merchetta Church who infiltrated the school to assassinate James. She makes a deal with him, promising to keep his secret if he keeps hers. When the two return to Aileen's dorm room, they find Isaac and Rachel there. Rachel explains that she wanted to save her friend from her fiancé, who turned abusive after he got addicted to smoking a strange pipe. Hearing that, Aileen thinks the pipe had demon incense in it. Rachel then asked Professor Koenig to help her and he told her to set up a meeting between him and her friend. However, when Koenig met up with the girl, he ended up attacking her. That's who the first victim of the supposed vampire attacks was. After that, he met up with Rachel herself and started telling her it's her fault her friend got attacked and he started blackmailing her. Walt heard that Koenig loves to gamble and that he's in a lot of debt. He's also addicted to smoking a strange substance. Hearing this, Isaac gets an idea. The next day, Isaac invites Koenig to play poker with him, which ends in the professor owing him a lot of money. However, it turns out that Koenig doesn't know anything about demon incense. He just found a pipe with it somewhere. When Rachel joins them, she admits she wants to become someone special who helps others, just like Selena. In order to get closer to that ideal, she decides to break up with her abusive fiancé. She and Walt also decide to join Aileen's security force. During lunch break, Walt tells Aileen that Ashtard announced he's going to attack Mishti Academy during the school festival. Walt says that the Duke's replacement is going to start visiting the academy to increase security, and Aileen gets scared that Claude is going to see her. Aileen remembers that, in the game, people from the church hide demon incense among the prizes for a swordsmanship tournament at the school festival. When James wins the tournament, the incense spreads and he turns into a demon. If Aileen manages to prevent that, she'll avoid the destruction of Merchetta. There is also going to be a beauty pageant where it's decided who the White Lily Princess of the school festival's ball is going to be. That's why students are starting to search for dance partners. An impolite male student is yelling at a female student who won't go to the ball with her, and Aileen in her duck costume kicks him in the head, saving the girl. Suddenly, Aileen sees Claude. Keith and Beelzebub arrive and hides in the bushes. Approaching Claude, Selena gets strangely clingy toward him and offers to show him to the cafeteria. Watching them from the bushes, Aileen gets irritated. However, Claude tells Selena that he has a fiancé already, and Aileen is relieved. Later, in the student council room, Selena expresses her desire to become the mediator between the council and Claude. Even though the others think that a girl being a mediator is improper because Claude's fiancé is known to get jealous easily, Selena wants to do it anyway, claiming that Claude was actually forced into an engagement with Aileen. Sick of Selena's love talk, everyone leaves for their night patrol. While Aileen and the boys are patrolling, they smell demon incense and James starts feeling sick. Quickly, Aileen tells August to take James back to the dorms to rest. When they're left alone, Walt tells Kyle that Aileen knows about their secret identities and that she's their ally. Aileen then finds a pipe where the smell of the incense was coming from. Suddenly, James comes back, having heard them mention demon incense. When everyone gets back to the student council room, Aileen lies to James and August that she, Kyle, and Walt are from a secret organization working for the Empire. She tells James that demon incense is a substance that makes people more violent, but he thinks there's more to it and that she's hiding something from him. Before he leaves, he says he'll report everything to Claude. Aileen runs after him and finds him near a fountain. James then reveals that he knows she saw his half-demon form before. Suddenly, she summons Ribbon the Fenrir pup, who jumps on James's face. She reveals that she's trying to protect him, and the fact that she can summon demons convinces James that she isn't on the side of the church. James reveals that Ashtard is the demon name his father gave him, but he isn't the one who is sending threats. He thinks that someone is using his name to frame him as the culprit of the attacks. Aileen tells him that she'll do her best to help him and convinces him not to report her to Claude. At the Duke's office, Claude is thinking about attending the school festival to make some friends, which surprises Keith and Beelzebub. He decides to ask Aileen how to make friends, but Keith tells him he won't let him have fun while the others are working. The next day, the school festival begins. During the festival, Aileen and the student council dress up in duck costumes and patrol the school grounds, looking for suspicious students. Suddenly, they come across Claude, who's wearing a mask that doesn't conceal his identity at all. Immediately, August recognizes him, but Claude claims he's someone else dressed as the Demon Lord. Obviously enjoying himself at the festival, Claude asks August to help him enter the swordsmanship tournament. Suddenly, Kyle and Walt appear and tell her that the church has put demon incense in the lanterns at the four corners of the sword fighting arena. When they're lit, they're going to spread the incense everywhere and expose James as a demon. When Aileen tells them that Claude is entering the tournament, they get concerned because he could destroy the whole country if he loses control of himself. Together with Isaac and Rachel, Aileen comes up with a plan to give Claude a sleeping potion and make him drop out of the tournament finals. While Claude is taking a rest, Rachel gives him the sleeping potion, telling him it's water. He drinks it, starts feeling tired, and falls asleep. Out of nowhere, Selena enters the room, wakes Claude up, and takes him to the finals. Hearing that Selena has given Claude some cookies, Aileen realizes that she must have put some love potion into them, which neutralized the sleeping potion. At the tournament finals, Claude prepares to go out and fight August. However, Aileen in her duck costume stands in his way. Writing on a notepad, she starts saying that Claude's fiancée is a horrible and disgusting woman, making him increasingly angry. Suddenly, a lightning bolt hits the building and Aileen somehow ends up facing Claude in the ring. Furious, Claude attacks Aileen with full force, but Kyle and Walt arrive in their own duck costumes to fight him too. While they're fighting Claude, Aileen, Kyle, and Walt manage to make him destroy two of the lanterns containing the demon incense. Then someone from the church appears, intending to light one of the remaining ones. Thankfully, Claude throws one of the ducks into the people before they can light it. When August finally arrives, he's confused by the whole situation. Suddenly, Walt and Kyle attack Claude once again. He fights them off, but Aileen gets enough time to run toward the last remaining lantern. Claude notices her and attacks, cutting the last remaining lantern in half. Aileen is relieved because all the lanterns are destroyed. but now she's scared that Claude is going to kill her. Then, August stands between them and blocks Claude's sword. When the fighting stops, Claude gets angry at the ducks and demands they show their faces. Aileen is terrified, but before she exposes herself, Keith and Beelzebub arrive to bring Claude back home. It turns out that Claude noticed the people from the church with the demon incense, so he tells his 2 attendants to interrogate them. In the end, Claude admits that August has won their sword fighting match and tells him they should compete again someday as friends. The next day, Jasper reports to Aileen he heard that the prize for the ball's White Lily Princess has been switched out for demon incense. Aileen doesn't remember anything like that happening in the game, though. Rachel courageously offers to enter the beauty pageant and try to win the prize or at least investigate. Later, while she's showing off the dress she's going to wear to the ball, Aileen suggests she asks Isaac to dance with her if she wins the contest. Rachel gets embarrassed, revealing that she grew fond of Isaac. He was the only one who approved her breaking up with her abusive fiancé. Selena then appears, having noticed that Rachel has entered the beauty pageant. Pretending to look at her dress, she tackles Rachel and they both end up falling down the stairs. Talking loudly, Selena says that her dress ripped, which makes everyone else think that Rachel sabotaged her on purpose. Aileen is furious for Selena trying to make Rachel look bad. Since Rachel has hurt her leg and she won't be able to dance at the ball, Aileen gets an idea. At the beauty pageant, Aileen arrives in Rachel's dress and everyone is astonished by her looks. Nobody knows who she is because she has been pretending to be a boy until then. During the judging, Aileen stands out among the contestants, captivating the judges with her charm. Even the student council boys, who still believe she's a boy dressed as a girl, feel embarrassed. James asks her to dance, and the ball begins. Rachel, with her leg bandaged, happily watches Aileen dance from the audience. However, she hears some girls gossip about her pushing Selena down the stairs. Isaac then arrives and consoles her. Thinking about Aileen, he tells Rachel that there used to be a girl he couldn't bring himself to approach even though he liked her. Knowing he missed his opportunity, he thinks he's pathetic. Rachel cheers him up, telling him he's an amazing person who can help others when they need it the most. Isaac gets flustered and thanks her for her kind words. Suddenly, Selena approaches Rachel, expecting to see her disappointed face because she couldn't participate in the contest. However, Rachel turns the tables on her, telling her that it's obvious that Aileen is going to win, leaving Selena frustrated. As expected, Aileen wins the contest and receives a prize in a box. However, before it is revealed, she runs away with it. She reunites with the student council boys outside and opens it, finding an empty incense burner inside, without any demon incense to go with it. Suddenly, Rachel rushes to them, urging them to return to the ball. On stage, Selena holds a vial of demon incense, announcing her plan to expose the true identity of Ashtart and bring him to justice. Before anyone can intervene, Selena smashes the vial, releasing the incense, which causes James to transform into his half-demon form. Walt and Kyle, revealing themselves as assassins from the church, prepare to kill James, but Aileen steps between them. After a struggle, Aileen grasps James' hand and uses her holy sword maiden powers on him. In a vision, she sees James leaving his mother as a child, who is then killed by the church's assassins. Aileen promises to help James and invites him to stay by her side if he has nowhere else to go. This causes James to regain his composure and revert to human form. Approaching Selena, Kyle asks her why she had the demon incense, but she claims she doesn't know what it is. August tells her she's the real villain, since James didn't do anything wrong. Selena then says that she received a letter instructing her to expose the demon using the incense. Suddenly, a horde of flying demons arrives, attracted by the potent incense. Aileen reveals her true identity as the Holy Sword Maiden and prepares to wield her sword. But an incredibly strong wind blows and stops her. Claude appears, furious because Aileen was lying to him. The following day, everything is back to normal after Claude has dealt with the demons. The night before, Aileen ran away from him and she's still scared of the consequences of her actions. The student council boys can't believe that the boy they were hanging out with the entire time turned out to be the Holy Sword Maiden. As they return to the academy, they find it covered in ice, which reflects Claude's emotions. Inside, Claude reveals that he has prepared a cage for Aileen, shocking her. She explains that she had no choice but to infiltrate the academy because she was concerned the demon incense would affect him and she wanted to prevent that. Putting away the cage, Claude hugs Aileen, promising to punish her later. Aileen then appoints James as Claude's future representative and asks August to be her knight. She also invites Rachel to be her loyal maid-in-waiting and says she wants the church to sell Kyle and Walt to her. Wondering about Selena, Aileen learns that she has been captured. She remembers that Selena thought August had the holy sword, just like he was supposed to have in the game. She concludes that Selena was following the instructions of Lilia, who is the only person aside from herself who has knowledge of the game. She also realizes that the person pretending to be Ashtart is Lilia too. When she returns to the Imperial capital, Aileen meets up alone with Lilia. She figured out that everything that happened in Merchetto was a part of Lilia testing if she has knowledge of the game. Lilia tells her that she considers everyone aside from the two of them as characters in a video game and doesn't care even if they die. Aileen is shocked, but Lilia still asks her to join her. Naturally, Aileen refuses and promises to find proof of Lilia's crimes. After the crisis in Merchetto, Ashtart sends a message announcing the end of the Demon's rebellion and everything goes back to normal. Claude, Aileen, and the students get praised by the real Duke, and the whole incident made the demons and the humans grow closer. While they're heading home, Claude teases Aileen and says that he still needs to punish her. He decides to kiss her as punishment, but Aileen says they'll talk about it later. However, Claude kisses her on the forehead anyway and she gets embarrassed. One night, Aileen and the boys from the student council infiltrate a black market demon auction. While James, Kyle, and Walt release one of the demons to cause chaos, Aileen and August look around. Suddenly, a hooded sorcerer appears and tells Aileen and August that he's their ally. He tells Aileen to take him to Claude in exchange for the list of attendants at the auction, and she agrees. She agrees and follows him through the window. The sorcerer removes his hood and introduces himself as Eliphaz. Aileen realizes he's the last boss from a fan-made sequel of Regalia of Saints, Demons, and Maidens. In fact, she's so surprised by that she ends up falling off the balcony. Luckily, Claude appears and catches her in the air. When they return to the castle, Claude wants to get lovey-dovey with her, but she stops him because the boys from the student council are there. She introduces him to Eliphaz, and Claude recognizes that he is from the Levy family. Aileen remembers that the Levy family is one of the few human families that can use magic. However, because the Empire believes that only demons can use magic, they have been rejected by human society. 20 years before, the Levy family declared war against the Empire, but lost in the end. Since then, the sorcerers of the family were forced to protect the Imperial family behind the scenes, while their families were taken as hostages. Eliphaz asks Claude to recognize the people of the Levy family as regular citizens of the Empire if he becomes the Emperor. But Claude tells him that it depends on the Levy family's future actions. While she's taking a bath that night, Aileen remembers that, even though Claude was defeated in the first game, he's a romantic interest in the fan-made sequel. However, she then remembers that Lilia is the one who ends up in a relationship with him. Getting out of the bath, she hurries to Claude's castle, but Almond stops her, flying into the room in a panic. It turns out that Claude was stabbed in the stomach by someone and Aileen is horrified. Luckily, it was a shallow wound, but he has somehow lost his memory after being attacked. The next day, Aileen wants to visit Claude, but his father, the Emperor, doesn't let her. Now that Claude has lost his memories, the Emperor wants to separate him from the demons and have him start over as a human. He even wants to break off Aileen's engagement to him. The Empress hopes that a lot of women are going to be interested in Claude, now that he has lost his memories and demon powers. She is organizing a ball soon and wants to use that opportunity to choose Claude's future wife. Suddenly, Cedric and Lilia arrive. Having heard the conversation, the two convince the Empress not to make Aileen and Claude break up so suddenly and to invite Aileen to the ball. However, if Aileen meets up with Claude outside of the ball, she'll be beheaded as punishment. Seeing how much Lilia wants her to attend the ball, Aileen suspects that she's planning something. Later, Aileen and Eliphaz secretly visit the house where Claude is held. However, Aileen is spotted by Cedric. Surprisingly, he ends up showing her to Claude's room and leaving her alone with him. Aileen sees Claude sleeping and takes his hand, glad that he's alive. Claude then wakes up, but speaks Lilia's name for some reason. When he sees Aileen, he doesn't recognize her at all, but Aileen doesn't lose heart and immediately asks him to marry her, promising him a future full of happiness. She introduces herself as his fiancée, but Claude doesn't want to get involved with her and go back to being the Demon Lord. He thinks they should break up their engagement. Getting angry, Aileen threatens him with her sword and tells him she would cut him down if she didn't love him so much. She reveals that she came to see him even though she will be beheaded if she's seen with him. She continues getting closer and closer to him, starting to enjoy his embarrassment while he's telling her to stop. Suddenly, Eliphaz interrupts her and tells her the guards are going to return soon. Before she leaves, Aileen promises to return. She tells Claude he can't cheat on her and promises she'll capture his heart as many times as it takes. Sometime later, Aileen meets up with Jasper, who tells her that Claude is intending to go on an inspection of the city to appeal to the public, since he's doing that on Lilia's suggestion. Aileen thinks she's planning something devious again. Jasper adds that there have been demon sightings around the city and Aileen thinks that they must be looking for Claude. She decides to sneakily join Claude's inspection. When she next visits Claude, she asks him to cover for her when he sees her during his inspection the following week, but he refuses. Still, Aileen continues being clingy and trying to seduce him, but he's getting increasingly sick of it. However, Aileen is having fun because it's the first time she's experiencing one-sided love. Suddenly, someone knocks on the door and Claude hides Aileen in the closet. It's Cedric and Lilia, who have come to tell Claude that his inspection route has changed because of the demons appearing in the city. After Lilia leaves to have a dress fitted, Aileen comes out of the closet. When she returns back home with Eliphaz, she sees Selena and August struggling over a vial of demon incense. Aileen approaches Selena and figures out that she came to try and seduce Cedric. Selena admits she's right, saying that her family wants her to marry a noble, so she wants to marry Cedric because he's so powerful. Aileen doesn't care about Cedric, so she decides to let Selena go. While Rachel is escorting her out of the castle, Selena tells her that she realized that Lilia is a villain. Now, she wants to get back at her by stealing away her fiancé, Cedric. When the time comes for Claude's inspection, he notices that Aileen has disguised herself as a man and infiltrated his escorting party of knights. He takes her somewhere they can talk alone and asks her if she's crazy, knowing she'll get beheaded if she's seen with him. However, Aileen tells him that she won't be beheaded if he stays engaged to her. Claude tells her to leave immediately, but Cedric then appears and tells him that Aileen is too stubborn to quit, so they should just return to the carriage. Joining her, Eliphaz tells Aileen he found out that the inspection was the idea of someone called Lester. Aileen remembers that Lester is a romance interest from the first game and thinks that Lilia has something to do with him appearing. Even though Claude expected Cedric to join him on the inspection, Lilia climbs into his carriage and tells him that Cedric suddenly felt unwell, so she's replacing him. Finally, the carriage gets going, together with the knights escorting it. However, after a while, the carriage starts shaking and it turns out that a huge cyclops has lifted it in the air. In the struggle, Lilia bumps her head and loses her consciousness. The Cyclops says he came to save his lord and Claude realizes he's talking about him. Aileen tells Almond to lure the Cyclops to the town square, where they'll capture him. Summoning a pack of Fenrir wolves, Almond attracts the Cyclops' attention. At the square, there's Lester, together with a crossbow unit. He orders the soldiers to shoot and one of the arrows pierces the Cyclops' eye, defeating him and making him drop the coach that Eliphaz then lowers using his wind magic. Suddenly, Aileen's workers and the student council boys arrive. Claude exits the carriage, carrying the unconscious Lilia with him. Suddenly, the Cyclops gets back up and prepares to attack Aileen, but Claude tells him to stop. The Cyclops stops, but starts yelling at Aileen, telling her to go away because she's bothering Claude. Then, Aileen remembers that the demons are connected to the demon lord's heart and his true feelings, meaning that Claude right now wants Aileen to disappear. When the Cyclops raises his hand to strike Aileen, Beelzebub appears and makes him fall to the ground again. Beelzebub tells Claude that, if he doesn't need his demons anymore, they will disappear, and he flies away. Seeing how worried Claude is about Lilia, Aileen realizes that he really doesn't love her anymore. She slaps him and tells him she'll disappear if she's really in his way so much. Some time later, Claude sits alone in his room, thinking about Aileen slapping him. To his surprise, Keith and Beelzebub enter through the balcony. Keith starts taking care of Claude as he usually would, and Claude is confused at first, but soon finds himself enjoying the attention. Keith scolds him for hurting Aileen's feelings, but Claude tells him it's the demon's fault for misunderstanding his feelings. Suddenly, Claude changes his attitude and tells Keith to bring Aileen to the Empress Ball. Later, Keith visits the sulking Aileen. He shows her a beautiful dress and tells her that Claude sent him to tell her he wants to see her at the ball wearing that dress. She continues sulking, but Keith tells her he was ordered to get her to the ball in any way he can. He tells her that Claude would rather die than let go of the things he fancies, whether he has his memories or not. Getting flustered, Aileen realizes that Claude could have fallen for her again, but she's still reluctant to accept the invitation. However, when both the demons and Keith insist she goes. That night, Aileen arrives at the ball in the dress. However, she reveals that she's wearing her duck mask and won't take it off, intending to make Claude regret he invited her. In response, Claude forcefully grabs her and takes her outside with him. When they're alone, he asks her if she can hug her and she lets him. He realizes that he knows exactly how much strength to use to hug her and she gets flustered. Teasing her, Claude continues calling Aileen's name and finally tells her he loves her. He realizes that his love for her doesn't change whether he has his memories or not. Getting even more embarrassed, Aileen tells Claude to wait for her at the ball while she goes back home to fix her makeup. There, while Rachel is bringing her lipstick, Eliphaz suddenly appears and puts a knife to Aileen's neck. He tells her he didn't think Claude would fall for Aileen again and he doesn't want him to get his memories back. Aileen knows that Eliphaz turned Claude back into a demon lord in the game, which is why she let her guard down around him. She tries summoning her holy sword and fighting back, but Eliphaz shows her that he's holding Almond hostage. He calls for Lester, who arrives together with some guards and arrests Aileen. Lester brings Aileen back to the ball and publicly accuses her of intending to use demon incense to turn Claude back into a demon lord. He also lies about Aileen having had relationships with various men while she was with Claude. But Aileen can't say anything without risking Almond's life. Claude tells her he'll believe her if she tells him she loves him. However, she says that it disgusts her to be loved by him since she's a human and he's a demon lord. She tells him he doesn't even remember that he used to be a monster, but suddenly, Almond crashes through a window. He says that Aileen is lying on purpose, but before he can elaborate, Eliphaz hits him with a magic spell, making him fall to the ground. Thinking his precious friend is dead, Claude falls into despair and causes a violent storm. Suddenly, he stops and Aileen realizes he got part of his memories back. However, the Emperor orders the guards to capture Aileen and sends his army to attack the demonic forest. As Eliphaz prepares to kill her, Aileen's friends stand in his way, but Claude teleports them all somewhere just before Eliphaz's spell hits. They find themselves in Claude's castle, with the Emperor's army approaching. Isaac shows the others to an underground labyrinth Denny's built. Using it, they can escape the castle without the Imperial Army's knowledge. Gathering all demons, Keith casts a spell called Acting Demon Lord and orders them to leave the castle and stay far away from the Imperial capital. At the Imperial castle, Claude is carrying Almond's lifeless body with him. Lilia approaches him and notices that he has turned back into a demon lord. She admits that she tried seducing him, but gave up when she realized she couldn't. Suddenly, she takes out a holy sword from her body and attacks him with it. She admits that she took his memories and opens a vial of demon incense. The next morning, Aileen and her friends emerge from the labyrinth. A demon bird appears and tells them that the cavalry is coming soon. Together with the others, Aileen tries escaping on a dragon's back, but Eliphaz finds her. He grabs her, intending to bring her back to the capital, but the holy sword inside her activates, making them both fall toward the ocean. The two land in Eliphaz's homeland and end up getting thrown into jail. Since the Imperial Army has gone away to the demonic forest, a rebel army is gathering to attack the capital. They want to control the Demon King and overthrow the Emperor. Eliphaz reveals that he's in love with Lilia and that he's working for the Empress. Aileen realizes that Lilia manipulated him to act differently than in the original game by saying that the Levy family is going to be destroyed if he doesn't do something. Noticing that her holy sword absorbed most of Eliphaz's magic energy, Aileen uses it to break out of her prison. Even though she can't forgive Eliphaz for capturing Almond, she feels sorry for him and wants to let him out. Suddenly, Eliphaz gouges out his own left eye and offers it to her, telling her she can use it as a magical item to stop the device the Empress is using on Claude. Asking Almond for his forgiveness, Aileen frees Eliphaz from his prison. Meanwhile, Rachel and the boys from the student council are surrounded by the Imperial guards. But Selena appears and tells them to come with her. She's helping them because she knows she's inconveniencing Lilia. Taking a hot air balloon, Aileen and Eliphaz start flying toward the Imperial capital. While they're flying, they see Isaac and Keith following a huge horde of demons who have decided to go to the capital and save Claude. Hearing that, Aileen jumps in front of them and uses her holy sword to cast a barrier. Beelzebub is furious, but Aileen manages to convince him that she'll save Claude. Suddenly, James contacts Aileen through her shadow. He and the others manage to find Claude, but he's asleep, being under the influence of the demon incense. Now, they're surrounded by the army and don't know how to wake him up. Aileen asks Selena if she knows anything useful, since she has been investigating Cedric, and she reluctantly tells her that the magic tool that the Empress is using to erase Claude's memories is probably in the northern tower of the Imperial Castle. When Aileen and Eliphaz reach the door to the northern tower, Lilia is waiting for them there. She reveals that she conquered Lester's romance path to gain a holy sword for herself. As the two holy sword wielders prepare to fight, Lilia tells Aileen that she's always getting in her way because she's the only one who could be Aileen's opponent. When the two swords clash, there's an explosion. Eliphaz tries running away toward the room where Claude is, but Lilia doesn't let him. While she's fighting, Lilia lets her arm be cut and starts absorbing Aileen's sword. However, Aileen absorbs some demon magic from her shadow and stops her. However, Lilia kicks her and Aileen feels herself weakening and sensing that Claude is dying. Eliphaz tries opening the door to the northern tower, but it's completely sealed with magic, just when it seems that there's no hope left. Almond appears and destroys the door with his demon magic, revealing the Empress magic device inside. Inserting his crystallized eye in the device, Eliphaz dispels the Empress spell over Claude. Suddenly, Lester appears with his knights to arrest Aileen and Lilia laughs, thinking she has won. However, the knights' swords are suddenly cut in half. Claude appears, revealing that he has restored his memories and his full power. With tears in his eyes, Aileen is relieved that he's back. Lester tries telling Claude that the Emperor ordered him to arrest Aileen, but Claude tells him that the Emperor is currently sick, so he's acting in his stead. Cedric appears and confirms what he's saying is true. Lilia acts innocent, but Cedric already figured out that she has been manipulating him and making a fool of him. However, he still loves her. After the crisis is over, Claude tells Aileen that everything is going to be alright and they hug, finally together again. Some time later, Claude announces that he's going to marry Aileen. While the Emperor and Empress are recovering, Claude releases the Levy family and promises them reparations for their suffering. Cedric and Lilia end up being sentenced to prison, while Aileen finally got married to Claude. Aileen is happy that she turned her bad ending into a good one, and she's convinced that she can overcome any hardship together with her new husband.